Good afternoon. It is still glorious out there, so yeah, definitely good afternoon. Welcome to Dice and Bolts, where I take a look at the core dice mechanics of some of the various different games that line my gaming library shelves. I would say my name's Ross Hawklaw 2112 Kingston, but if you're watching the video, you kind of know that already. And in this short clip, I'm going to take a look at the multicolored Overlight from Renegade Game Studios, www.renegadegames.com. This is one of the brightest and most beautiful role-playing books that you will see. It sits on my shelf next to a game called Black Void, and it's kind of the direct opposite of it. The character sheets. I bought this game because of the character sheets. If you knew me, that makes sense. It is simple, straightforward, nice, bright, lots of different colour in it. May do a full review video on the game a little bit later on. Dice system, I'm not massively enamoured of. I've not really played with it that much, so I've not seen how it handles in open combat and open action for it. The game is more about the story, but the system is really quite simple and straightforward. You build a hand of 7 dice that you roll on any task. One of them is always what's called your spirit die, which is a d4. The other 6 are built up of skill and virtue, or stat. They're called virtues in the game. You're going to get 3 dice based on your skill in something, and 3 dice based on your virtue in something. Now, skills and virtues are both rated from d6 to d12. So if you've got a basic skill in melee combat, that's going to add 3d6s to your pool. If your might is 1 step above basics, you've got d8s, that's adding 3d8s. So your dice pool is going to be 3d6s and 3d8s and the d4. And when you roll the dice, you're after 6s, okay, which means that you really need to leverage. You need to be quite specialised. So to start off with, I think I'll put a character together. I only managed to get 3 of the 7 virtues and 21 odd skills. I only managed to get 3 of them at D10. So you're playing sort of quite specialised characters in this game. And you roll them, and we want 6s. Doesn't matter what dice they're on, if they're on skill or if they're on virtue dice, because it's all there. And what you're after is pairs of 6s. So just 1 6 by itself won't quite cut it. Okay, so we've got a table. 0 to 1 successes is a fail. 2 or 3 successes is what's called a luminous success. So you'll do what you were trying to do, but bare bones. 4 and 5 successes is what's called a radiant, and 6 successes is a brilliant. Obviously, more like 6 sixes on 66 is very low chance to get that sorted, but there's a way of leveraging to get other ones, and that's where the spirit die comes in, because obviously a d4 can't roll 6s, but it influences the roll in other ways. So with an 8 and a 6 on this roll here, we've done what we attempted to do. Okay, to use our standard example, we've hit the orc. There aren't orcs in this game. We've hit the I don't really know, I haven't read it enough. But we've done what we needed to do. And a basic thing, we've persuaded the guard to let us past. Fairly straightforward. The spirit dice kicks in, and there are 3 different things that this little d4 bad boy can do. They're only triggered if you get a 4 on the dice, and the 3 different things are based on what the other dice in the pool have got for you. If you have an odd number of successes, so say, for example, we're persuading this guard to let us through, and we have that kind of roll. Okay, we have 1 success, but we have a 4 in our spirit dice. The 4 counts as a success. It puts us up to that next level. So instead of being a 0 to 1, it becomes a 2 to 3. We've got the success that we needed. If we had 3 successes, for example, this would then make it 4th, that puts us up to the next difficulty level. Okay, so it gives you just that little bit extra chance of getting a slightly better result than we would have done beforehand. If we already have an even number of successes and we roll a 4 on the spirit dice, we gain a spirit point. Now, this is a point that can be spent later on to power some of your special abilities. It can be used to, I think you can get rerolls from it. It's a way of kind of regenerating that mana, that currency that you have back in the game. And if you already have the maximum number of successes that you can get, so you have 6 successes, which is a brilliant success, rolling a 4 on the spirit dice as well, legendary success. This is the kind of action that's going to go down in absolute history, that people are going to tell stories of about it. Deeper than that, okay, number of successes in combat, for example, influences, or the degree of success that you have, influences the amount of additional damage that you might do on top of weapon dice. Sometimes you're only using your virtue. So spells and kind of supernatural effect in this game are called chroma, where you can use the filtered light of the filtered overlight, hence the name of the game, to inflict mystical change to the world, and you only use your virtue. So in this one, where the d6 was from our skill, if this character's virtue at the score in the virtue that was tied to the chroma that they're using was d8, you're rolling 68. So, like I say, if you're specialized, you're going to be able to leverage your specialization really, really well. But yeah, so stat gives you 1 dice type. Virtue gives you 1 dice type. Skilled gives you a 2nd dice type. 3 of each of those dice, plus a d4 spirit dice. Roll it, and you have to 6 or higher on each dice. And you want pairs of 6s or higher. That's the dice and bolts of Overlight. Check it out. It's available through Amazon. There are custom spirit dice in different colors. There's a GM screen. There's not really much else out for it. It is a beautiful book. This is one that I would say, if you are a collector, you don't necessarily buy games specifically to run them. It belongs in your collection, straight up. That's the dice and bolts of it. Roll a lot of 6s, roll well, and I'll see you around.